So the purpose of this film study is just going to be looking at level 2 footage and level 2 action, and talking about how I use level 2 to help dictate my trades. So this is a setup on Tesla where the stock had gone down, gap down, and was kind of looking like a short on bounces to me. And what I'm looking at here on Tesla is I'm looking at the round level of 210, and I'm just watching to see how is it reacting around 210 as far as setting up a short trade. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the 210 strike puts. I want to trade these. So keep your eye over here on the left hand level 2 box. That's where those 210 strike puts are trading. You'll see that when I do enter the position, it'll show up in the position with my average price. And then, but again, the main thing here on level 2 is we broke below 210, and I want to be getting commitment below 210. I know that 210 is a key level from the chart, but now I want to see what level 2 is telling me about 210. So I'm just going to let this play, let it run, and I will commentate along the way. So what I like is that you're not getting any bounces back above 210. It's kind of a slow pace right here, but the bears are in control. There's two key questions for me when I'm using level 2. Number one, who is winning the battle? Are the bids winning or are the asks winning? And number two, who is already in charge? So right here, the bears are already in charge. Why do I say that? Well, because the stock's down 0.6%. It gapped down. The bears have the benefit of the doubt. They've shown the better move out of the gate as the stock is moving lower. So I give them the edge right away. Then from there it becomes, all right, who's maintaining the upper hand? As long as the bears are keeping this thing down here, I know that they're in charge because the stock's already down, so I'm going to be short biased. So we had a couple chances where it tried to go above 210, but each time the asks ended up being able to come back down. Another attempt where, look at that stack, 209.90, right away it gets whacked out, asks still right at 210. So at this point I'm looking at that 210 put and I'm starting to think, okay, maybe I need to make an adjustment here if I want to get in. Doesn't look like I'm going to fill much lower, so I'm thinking about just jumping in. Here's another chance, right? Asks are above 210 this time, but we don't have any bids above 210. And then the ask comes right back down to 210. So keeps trying to go up, but ultimately the asks are able to come down. Here we find, look at that. Got to rewind that because that's key when you see stuff like that. Pay attention. The bids are going to pop up to 210.20. You're going to get a lineup of bids at 210.20 for a second, and then it's going to whack them out right away. I'm going to pause it when it lines up at 210.20 to show this. See that? Look at this lineup. We've got 3 bidders at 210.20 and only one ask below 210.30, right? So right here is a chance for the bids. They've got a chance to start shifting the tide and firming this thing back up. But when I click play, you'll notice that instantly these bids get whacked out and the asks go right back to 210, and that kind of serves as a signal to me that there's still a lot of pressure here, and this is where level 2 really starts to be useful. Alright, so we whacked them out right away. You still have some bidders at 210. They're trying to stack again. 210.05 now on the bid. They have a chance, if they can take them out, but boom, ask right back down to 210. So the bears are still in charge. You can see I've started to raise a bid over on those 210 puts. I'm bidding $1.54. Again, asks right back at 210. So even though the stock isn't moving here, it's been at the same price for a couple minutes, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, number one, the bears are in charge because the stock's lower. Number two, the asks keep coming down to 210. Number three, it's going to move. It's going to move more than it's moved right now. I'll be damned if Tesla just stays at the same price all morning. So that's where I start placing that bet. You look over here, I did get in that 210 put. I bought one contract at $2.65. You can see it highlighted here on that level 2 area. And again, the main reason for this is I'm willing to bet on the bears. They are already in charge, and they look to be winning the battle on the level 2. The asks seem to be having an easier time going down than the bids do seem to be going up. We're still just dancing with 210. And to be clear, this is a little bit more of an aggressive trade because number one, it's still slow. And number two, it hasn't started that move. You know, I'm trying to front run the move. I bought a put in anticipation of new lows based on what I'm seeing on the level 2. But maybe you're looking at it and you're saying, well, the bids keep firming up. It's defending 210. I'm going to wait until it starts to lose 210 more cleanly or more emphatically. But that's why, you know, it's kind of my job to be able to anticipate these things. And this is another good one where we're getting these bidders back above 210. The asks are at 210.50, but you look at it and it'll be able to whack them out again right here. Bids still holding 210, but still just no extension. You know, we're not able to move through these low 210s at all. And because I know the bears are in charge, since the stock is already down 0.7%, they don't have to prove it to me. The bulls are the ones that have to change my mind. So when I'm in this put, I just want to see continued stalls on 210. You know, and I want to be whacking out 210s here as we continue to progress and get closer to 9:45. Right now it's 9:37. Only 7 minutes into the trading day here. So getting some ask stacking back down. Those bids still aren't looking aggressive. And now what I want to see at this point, since we've done a lot of dancing with 210, is the next time it breaks below 210, I want to be done with these tests back above 210. You know, I've been in the trade for 5 minutes, which doesn't seem that long, but long enough for me. And since I'm more aggressive, I want to see the price action start to be supportive of my bias. Right now it is, I want to see it start confirming my bias. Right now it's supportive of my bias, but not yet confirming the belief that it is going to go lower. What will confirm it is a nice hard move back below 210 where the asks start stacking beneath 210 and we start pressuring that low again. So we whacked out the 210s, that's step one. Now you're getting some asks below 209, starting to speed up a little bit there. So I'm liking this. You know, it is starting to confirm things here. And again, at this point, any flashes above 210 need to be coming right back down. If we're coming right back down from 210 at this point, I'm starting to really feel good that the move is underway. Okay, so here's a little flash where you took them back above 210. This is what I'm talking about, where now I want to see them be able to come right back down. What I like is no bids popped up above 210 on that. And the asks are right back at 210. Now we're back below 210, have some asks into 209s, starting to get some stacking, speed's picking up a little bit, order flow is picking up, and you can see that reflected over here in this 3-minute chart. You see the volume starting to increase. I don't need to look at the volume though to know that it's coming in. I can tell it's coming in from the way the level 2 is extending lower. And you look at that break, that's exactly what I need to see, right down to the low. And now I'm kind of in the driver's seat. This trade is working. So I want to rewind it just for a second to show that speed right there once we backed below 210, because that was really perfect. It was a great example of what you want to see in terms of confirming your bias. So we're below 210. Look at the way those asks picked up right there. You see that? Just going to do it one more time. Rewound again just for a second. Alright, so popped back, try to get above 210. I'm pausing it for a second. So right now, try to get above 210, the asks were able to come back down. From the moment I click play, I want you to count how many seconds it takes to get down to 209.50 and start pressuring the low. Because the best moves lower are when you get a quick reaction down, meaning that the asks just really start stacking at a fast pace and you start going right down towards the low. So I'm going to click play here and let's just count how long it takes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it takes 10 seconds and here we are moving right there. And 10 seconds, to be honest with you, is more than average. Ideally it only takes 5 or 6 seconds, but still good enough. It goes right down to the low, and I love the way that it keeps the pressure on here. I'm going to pause it again for a second. So right here we made a new low. This is where you get into the decision point of, do I want to take profits at this new low or do I want to keep holding? And one of the things I look for off of this is, when you're at a new low, what does the spread look like and what do the bids look like? When you go into a new low, are bids automatically coming back up or are asks continuing to stay down? And in this case, what we're going to see is the bids are failing to come up. There's not a lot of enthusiasm, if you will, by the bids. There's not a lot of buying into new lows, which you guys know when we go straight down, I like looking for a bounce. But if there's no bidders showing up on the level 2, then I know I can stick with it on the short side. So you break 208s, you're testing lows, you look at that ask stack right below 209 right away, and just continuing to go lower. I'm prepping a sell order here. Now I'm actually making the mistake of what I mentioned earlier of not placing your sell order right away. So I'll be using some guesswork on this. But this is a Friday. Fridays, yeah, this was a Friday. Fridays you generally have the chance for much bigger moves, so I'll tend to be a little bit more lenient with things. But anyways, so again, try to get back above 209, but the asks are staying down. No real jumps by the bids. Next lineup isn't until 208.50. And you're testing that right here. Continuing to get great stacks lower. Just look at that speed. That's awesome. Awesome speed right there. Now right around here though, it gets a little interesting because we go down to 208 and you are going to start to get some bid jumps off of 208. And the asks are going to let up a little bit. You see that right there? They let up just a little bit. So I rewound it to show it again. So I'm going to try and pause it when we have the pressure on 208. I'm going to show you how heavy the asks are, and in a split second later I'm going to pause it again and you're going to see how the asks spread out a little bit. We're going to talk about what that means. So working on pressure, staying on the lows here. Again, I rewound it so you're looking at the same thing. So here comes the lower day, more lower days, right down to 208. Awesome down ticks. More down ticks, staying on the lows. right on top of 208 here. All right, now look at this. Your bidders are at 208. You've got a nice ask lineup at 208.35. You've just dropped straight down. Everything still looks good. I just placed a sell order on this put at $2.94. But I'm going to change that. And the reason I'm going to change that is because when I click play again, you're going to see these asks kind of scurry back up to 208.70. And when the asks kind of scurry back up like that, like you're going to see, it's the first sign that, hey, maybe this move down is a little bit exhausted and maybe it's going to try and bounce. So I'm clicking play on this 208 test and pay attention to what happens on the ask side. They come down again, 208.33s. Boom. Right there. You see that? Now we're up to 208.66. So try to come down and break 208, but now we've got bidders popping off at 208 and the asks spread back up by 30 cents. So again, that's a sign that maybe there's a little bit of relief coming in, and right away when I see that, I'm going to start considering an adjustment and looking to sell my 210 put. You flashed back up to 209. So on this next move down, I'm going to lock in profits because I feel like I just saw some bid support come in, and more importantly, I feel like the ask pressure let up a little bit. So here it is again. You try and go down to 208 and try and break that new low, but you can't do it. I'm in this 210 put. I start lowering my sell order because again, it did a good job coming down to 208, but because of the action I just saw previously, if it doesn't break right here, I got to get out because I'm thinking this thing might bounce back to 210. See, now I'm making my adjustment, finger over the trigger, ready to cancel my original sell order and just sell into the bid, since it doesn't look like I'll be getting filled at 294. There was another one where you tried to break lower towards 208, but the asks got taken out. You're trying it again right here, trying to break down at 208, but again the asks still getting taken back out towards 208.50. So I did exit the position. You can see it's closed off. I now have a closed P&L. And again, the reason I did that, I'm just going to rewind and show it one last time before moving on, is because when we try to come down to 208 again, the bids still jump up and the asks still spread out towards 208.50. So like right here, we're trying to get ask pressure again. Here it is. Perfect example again. Bids are at 208, asks pressuring 208.25s. Let's go ahead and break down at 208. If we break down at 208, I'll be able to get that sell order at 293 where I'm trying. But boom, takes the asks back out towards 208.49. So that's kind of looking a little bit iffy to me. That's why I make that adjustment.